Pratibohitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamhina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambattvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavate Bhavadveshinim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala-buddhe Pullaravindayata-patra-netra Yena tvaya bharata-taila-purnaha Prajvalito jnanamaya-pradeepaha Prapanna-parijataya Stotra-vetraika-panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Geetā-mrita-duhe Namaha. Hearty greetings to all of you on this auspicious day of Vijayadashami, which has begun in India right away, and for those of you in the West, perhaps it is the eve of Vijayadashami. As the main symbolism goes, in addition to our deep faith in the reality of Mahabharata, Ramayana and other, we regard them as itihasa. For us it is not fiction. In addition to our faith in Rama, Krishna and others having walked on this earth, there is a symbolism, and that, to be brief on it, is the conquest of the good over evil. I wish every one of you, starting this Vijayadashami, greater, much greater success in your fight, in your battle with negative forces outside and inside. We will now take up the study of the Bhagavad Gita, picking from where we left last Tuesday evening in the West and Wednesday morning in India. I had pointed out that the verse number 6 is extremely significant for all of us who are on the path of sadhana. Those who are dreaming of renunciation had better see this shloka very carefully. Sannyasaha dukkham aptum. It's extremely hard to embrace sannyasa, ayogataha, if one has not done adequate amount of karma yoga. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogata. In Shankara Bhāshya, we had seen yoga here means karma yoga. If one has not done karma yoga, do not imagine karma yoga means you go out somewhere and help people hit by some floods or some other calamity. Karma yoga doesn't mean so much in external show or quantity. Even if somebody is living within the four doors of his house or her house, whoever, it could be 2 or 3 people you meet daily, and you interact with them with no selfishness. Charity begins at home. So in this world, some people might be doing excellent karma yoga, just being homemakers, just within a circle of 10 or 15 people. Whereas some others, yes, may do karma yoga out in the public, doing a lot of social service. And in addition, as Acharya Shankara also writes, Karma Yoga does not have to be equated only with service to humanity or forms of life, animals, plants, etc. In one's worship of the Lord, somebody is doing puja every day. In one's puja, in one's japa, in one's spiritual activities, if one takes care to let go of all worldly desires. I can do a puja and pray to God with the desire, let me have a 5-bedroom house as soon as possible. It's possible. Or I can do a puja without asking for a 5-bedroom house or some expensive car or some position. I do puja saying, Lord, please give me pure devotion to your feet. By this puja, may you be pleased. What is your list of demands? No demands. Now accept more love for you. That is also karma yoga. In modern times, because of less exposure to Vedic literature, less exposure to the details of Sanatana Dharma, people read some popular book which they may pick up at a railway station or an airport, and then certain very liberal and such interpretation that appeal to the Western educated person is given. That meaning is not wrong, but that meaning is not comprehensive. In recent times, many books have come on Bhagavad Gita, for that matter, on epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and so on. They are bestsellers also. But if you go on YouTube, you will find some of those very popular authors have been criticized also by those who know Hinduism much better. Just like those who know classical music very well would not be happy to listen to somebody who may make a great appeal to thousands of common people who don't know so much classical music, but who may be making certain errors. The ragas may be a little distorted. Those who know classical music may be a small number, but do not brush them aside saying, these are all fanatics, these are all outdated people. Every time a critic doesn't have to be outdated. You need to double check. Thus, in spirituality, in Adhyatma Vidya, especially in interpreting Vedas, Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., one has to be a little careful with due respect to the noble motives of those liberal writers who give some meaning which then will get well received by the society. Actually, the original spiritual wisdom is something more comprehensive. Anyway, coming straight to the topic, Karma Yoga can be your devoted services to your Ishta Devata, such as Rama, such as Shiva, such as Ganesha, Ishta Devata, and over a length of time, with greater caution, with greater alertness, you ensure that worldly desires are put aside and your devotional services, such as even ritualistic worship, gets better and better. So if we have been doing that yoga, which is karma yoga, over a length of time, our mind becomes so pure, then sannyasa is easy. That's what Sri Krishna said in the second line. Yoga yuktaha. The first line said ayogataha, no yoga. One has not mastered addition and subtraction. Will one succeed in multiplication and division? One has not mastered multiplication and division. Can one succeed in differentiation and integration? One has not mastered basics of any subject. Can one master advanced topics? That is what applies in spirituality too. If we have been living in a very orderly manner, orderly means less and less contradictions, less and less compromise, less and less of laziness, less and less of greed or jealousy. We have been living a life of certain inner purity in all our transactions. Then we are yogis. Those who have done such karma yoga will easily, sukham bandhat pramuchyate was said before, and here it is said, yoga yuktaha munihi nachirena brahma adhigacchati. Before long, without much delay, this person attains Brahma. And Shankaracharya is so technically precise. And his knowledge of Sanskrit is so vast and so deep. He says one of the meanings of the word Brahma is sannyasa. Therefore, in this context, though the word Brahma is used, it is to mean someone who has lived an orderly life, a disciplined life, before long attains sannyasa. With or without orange robes, saffron robes, Keruva clothes, and so on, with or without a staff in hand, bhasma on his forehead, etc. Those who put that on, fine. Those who don't, fine too. Sri Ramakrishna, Mata Amritanandamayi, Sri Ramana Maharshi, etc. did not go for the saffron clothes. But Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, not only went for the saffron clothes, he involved 11 of his friends, all disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. All of them took sannyasa in a formal manner. Oh, that has a place of its own. Traditionally, we always respect somebody who is in saffron clothes, who lives a certain life marked by what we call yati dharma. Yati dharma has external signs to it and has internal signs to it. So Brahma is sannyasa here. So with this, we will in fact proceed to the next shloka. But those of you who might have missed some keywords in the commentary on this sixth verse itself, Sri Shankaracharya says, Ayogataha means yogena vina. And what is yoga? Yoga yuktaha means Vaidikena karma yogena yuktaha. The yoga that is described in the Vedas. Do not go for some popular book being sold on the railway station or some pop places. These days, of course, my example may be outdated. Amazon. You see on Amazon, Gita for modern times. This is what I want. And you buy it. And it will be, it may give you some good, no doubt. But it may not be true in all respects. Especially, I warn you of some over-enthusiastic writers who not only give some modern meaning, which is okay, but they criticize traditional practices. They will criticize rituals. They will criticize going to temples. They will criticize going on pilgrimage. They will criticize even some, age-old institutions. They will make fun of maybe people in orange robes and so on. That is not to be done. We don't insist you wear orange robes, but please do not make some sweeping remarks about those who are wearing orange robes or who go to temples daily, who do certain worship and ring the bell in the morning. Hold on. Those are not to be criticized. Anyway, Shankara says, Vaidikena Karma Yoga. And what is this Vaidika Karma Yoga? Ishvara Samarpita Rupena Phala Nirapekshena Yuktaha. In Vaidika Karma Yoga, when one is doing some Vaidika karma or Pauranika karma, that is, while performing a puja, one may recite Veda mantras such as the Anuvakas or the mantras of Purusha Sukta, Rudra, Chamaka, and so on. Or one may perform a certain puja even for 1 hour, 2 hours. But all the Sanskrit or other recitations are non-Vedic. From the Puranas, from certain languages other than Sanskrit also, there are wonderful compositions. In a place in Karnataka called Hiremagaluru, not Chikamagaluru, Hiremagaluru. Those of you who know Kannada know that Chikamagaluru means the village of the younger daughter. And Hiremagala Uru means the village of the older daughter. That is the meaning of the name. So there is a village called Hiremagalu, and there is a certain temple. And there is one Kannan. I myself wish to go meet him, pay my respect to him. There is one Kannan. I think his mother tongue is Tamil, but he has settled in Karnataka for a very long time. He knows Kannada very well. And the best part of that temple is you go, he is the priest there, a learned scholar. You go and ask Mr. Kannan, Purohita Kannan, please perform Mangalarati or Ashtottara Shatanama Puja for the deity. Like any other temple here too in Hiremagalur, Kannan, the priest, performs. And you will be amazed, especially Kannadigas. Everything is in Kannada. Mantras, shlokas, which are in Sanskrit, he has translated into beautiful Kannada. And therefore, the benefit, as you can imagine, suppose a family has gone and he will be chanting all that, and the family, father, mother, son, daughter, all of them will be able to understand everything that he is saying. If it is dhupa, if it is deepa, if it is naivedya, the shlokas would not be in Sanskrit. Vanaspati rasodbhuto gandhadyo gandha uttamaha agreya sarva devanam dhupoyam parigृह्यताम. That is just offhand I remembered a shloka. So of late I have not been doing puja. At one time I used to do and teach also. So, Vanaspati rasodbhutaha. This dhupa, this incense, has been drawn from some very nice plants which have probably even medicinal value or great perfume. Gandhadyaha having great perfume, etc. A description of what this incense is. And this may please be accepted. Is Sanskrit. Unfortunately, these days, 9 out of 10 people cannot understand if it is said in Sanskrit, though it is simple Sanskrit. Vanaspati rasodbhutaha gandhadyaha gandha uttamaha agreya sarva devana. Even gods would enjoy agreya. Agra, ajigrati means to smell. Aha, how nice. So this is what is appreciated even by gods, devatas. And I am offering this, O Lord, parigृह्यताम, please take. So Kannan has a poetic and nice way, but for your convenience, let me put it in English. He has said for all this, he has in simple Kannada. So to put it in English for your convenience, he would, while offering incense, that agarbatti, he would say, this dhupa brought from or made from very selected plants. It is with best perfume. It is dear to even the gods. I am offering this. Lord or Mother, please take this. So in the regional language. And people are excited. I watched some of his videos. They are simply uplifting. Even the finally Falashruti, or in the beginning Sankalpa, resolving, I'll do a puja. He will give a long list of what benefits are kept in mind for the family who is asking for a puja. All of them are in Sanskrit, but Sanskrit generally goes above the head for most people. He would say in the regional language, for the good health of the mother and father, for the good health of son and daughter, for the good health of all people in the family, for their wealth, for their long life, for all their obstacles to be removed. Long list. And it's all in a language that they understand. And he does it with such gusto, such enthusiasm, and that long sankalpa then ends. This worship I shall do now, and so on. Without going long on it now, Ishvara Samapita, whether in Sanskrit or Tamil, Telugu or Gujarati, Lord knows all the languages. Lord knows what you are saying before you even utter the words. Lord doesn't need any help. So use any language, but the main point is Phala Nirapekshena. By old habit, you are about to say, for getting a Mercedes Benz at the earliest, that might be about to come from your lips, but you say, not just because the scriptures ask you not to ask for material rewards, but you have seen life. Other day, a little comic strip, only one slide, came to me. Somebody is looking at the mirror. In the mirror, a 40-year-old young and smiling man's face is seen. But the whole comic strip is interesting. The man who is looking at the mirror is also shown. The image in the mirror also is shown in that comic strip. The man who is looking at the mirror is probably 70, 72-year-old, and wrinkles on his forehead, all white beard. He's an old man. The old man is looking at the mirror, and the artist has shown the image as of one who is 40 or 42. And then something is written below. The man is saying, I never knew happiness and youthfulness are enemies. I never knew. All my life, I worked hard. And in this retired life of mine, I have brought happiness home. I'm happy. I'm peaceful, and I'm enjoying my retired life. All my life I worked hard to get happiness home. But the moment happiness has come home, youthfulness has run away. Now I realize youthfulness and happiness are age-old enemies with a touch of humor. So let us hope that maximum among us also at our retired life are happy. Youthfulness is secondary. But the touch of humor there obviously is to a little bit, in a little, slightly speaking, the man wishes with all this peace and happiness and enjoying my retired life, how I wish I was also a little younger and more agile and so on. That's a touch of humor. But that comment was interesting. Sukham and Yavvanam are enemies. From time immemorial, they are enemies. By the time you get Sukha, Shanti, your Yavana, youthfulness has gone. Anyway, Phala Nirapeksha. So that is Karma Yoga. I have said enough. Sannyasa is Brahma. He even quotes Mahanarayana Upanishad, Nyasa iti Brahma, Brahma hi Paraha. Brahma has one of the meanings as sannyasa. With this, we are well set now to enter the seventh shloka, where Sri Krishna says, if you and I perform karma yoga with patience, we should not take sannyasa hurriedly. Those who are aspiring for sannyasa are told, do adequate karma yoga. The litmus test is not whether you have built orphanages or hospitals or schools or donated to people or served sick and poor. That is an expression. The litmus test is, as we have explained before also, whether day after day in your bosom you discover certain unconditional love, certain forgiveness. In your bosom, you discover a rather natural withdrawal from sense pleasure. You took a jalebi. In olden days, something would happen to you and you would take a second and a third. Whereas now, you took a jalebi or you took half a jalebi, and whether the guests are not guests, hosts, whether your hosts are pressing you to take one more or not, irrespective of that, you know it in your heart. You don't you don't seek to take more. You are happy. You take a cup of well-made coffee with a little sugar, let us say, if you are not diabetic, and you know, I'm happy. Within you, there is no urge to have another cup, to eat one more, delicious piece of food, etc. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate, says Sri Krishna in 6th chapter. Sri Krishna describes this state of mind at many places. Therefore, none among us should make the mistake of thinking, oh, I have studied Gita, now I want to study something else. Please do study other, we don't say no. But don't put Gita aside saying, I have studied it already. There is no need. Gita is a work you should study till your last breath. For even if you have studied it 1,000 times, or people like me have lectured on it 1,000 times, when you go once more through it, there is a shloka which seems to be speaking straight to you, and it seems to be addressing the conflict you are presently facing. That is the power of Bhagavad-Gita. Gandhi used to say, I open Bhagavad-Gita just like that, randomly. And I look at whatever shloka is on the page that I have opened. And that shloka seems to address my conflict, my turmoil. And this is testified to by many others also. Even I have found the truth of it to a large extent. Just to open 6 chapters, 8 chapters, 7 chapter, 3rd chapter. And there is something, and let's say I have been going through certain conflict and certain agitation, and that shloka addresses the issue. Or, okay, if you're not that much, just browse a little back and forth. This principle of karma yoga, for example, is such a remedy. It is such a panacea for so much of human suffering. Basically, all of us are unhappy because we would have done something for somebody and he or she is not returning that good to us. I did so much for her, but she did not even smile at me yesterday at that gathering. So our heart sinks. Or when we hear somebody spoke ill of us. Other day I heard somebody in the United States spoke rather negatively about me. I have not met that couple for some 20 years now. 20 years ago, I knew them very well. But when I heard now, after 20 years, that recently in some get-together of NRIs, in Florida, these couples spoke something negative about. That is the test for Karma Yoga. If I say, sit down and say, oh, I don't like this. Why did they? I will do something now. I will tell them they have misunderstood. If mind goes into an agitation, and in whatever way, then I have not gone ahead in Karma Yoga. That doesn't mean you are a stone. You do feel, oh, you feel a pinch. Oh, is that how they think about me? Oh. And then, with no malice, no revenge, no anger, and no intention to go and try to set right their so-called misunderstanding. You put things in place. You see things in perspective. And you say, they were such good people. They were and they are good people. I am glad I had some association with them in those late 90s or early 2000s. Yeah, now I am not in touch with them. Even if they have spoken something negative about me now, doesn't matter. I would like to remember all the good they did to me those days. They took good care of me. I stayed with them. They took me around a couple of places. They organized my lectures. So I have pleasant memories. And if I just bring in thoughts of gratitude, and about this misunderstanding which seems to have happened, well, it's not that you should not do anything at all. If it's possible in a very sattvic, dharmic way to make some amends, to mend the fences, one could think of it. Karma Yoga never means don't do anything about any situation. Do if you can do something. But your bosom should be free of malice. I often said in these lectures, if among your relationship is somebody, let us say, is really getting on your nerve, very difficult to handle him or her, I always said, it is even all right to keep a distance. It's all right even not to interact much with them, especially if it's not your duty. You can't do it with your spouse or daughter or son or there it is your duty. But some social contact and nowadays the relation is not all that pleasant, then you will withdraw a little. You may not go to the party that they may call, and you may not invite them. Remove their name from your invitees list. There is no adharma in that because you don't owe them so much, right? But ensure that even as you remove their name from the list of people to be invited to the next get together at your home, even as you do that, please wish them well. God bless them. And God give me the strength to have goodwill towards all. Sadbhavana. Then we are karma yogi. That is the litmus test. If you have built hospitals or schools and orphanages, or you have done flood relief, you have given your blood in blood donation camps, good. That is also good. But that's not the litmus test. That is not the sure test. The sure test is insight. Now Sri Krishna praises a seeker who has equipped herself with yoga, this karma yoga, with the purity that comes from karma yoga, with the dispassion, detachment, broad-mindedness, forgiveness, and very natural cheerfulness that comes with this karma yoga. He praises it in 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma Kuruvannapi na lipyate. Swami Chinmayananji would have used some dramatic expression. Sri Krishna throws 5 arrows, he would have said. There are 5 descriptions here of a person who has risen in Karma Yoga. A lot of us talk about Karma Yoga. We don't do much Karma Yoga, really. Once I was a little bothered that I was not helping poor people or, people suffering from material issues. So in a lecture in San Jose, I said, I also want to do some social service. And I can never forget a lady in San Jose, California area. After the class, she said, Swamiji, why are you saying you are doing a lot of social service? These lectures are such great service, etc. It partly was right, but not fully right. So, because she has such faith, those who give lectures are already doing seva. As I already said, the litmus test is neither flood relief or blood donation or orphanages or hospitals, nor giving lectures. Giving lectures by itself doesn't become seva. The real test is the absence of negativity. Sometimes after a lecture, right away, then itself the litmus test comes before you. You come down the platform after giving a wonderful lecture, let's say on Gita, and an old man, or it doesn't have to be old, just for example, an old man comes and says, I don't think you explained Gita properly. Then suppose I grind my teeth. How dare this man say this to me? Then, though I have given a wonderful lecture, I have not done Karma Yoga. Because I have been the begging bowl of praise. I want to be praised. Interestingly, I'm remembering San Jose again. Nowadays, he doesn't show up. There was a very lovable elderly man. He would once in a while make strong statements. For example, I was giving a lecture in a temple in Sunnyvale, and he was there in the front row on a chair, being elderly, but very lovable because the best part of it is he actually attended all my lectures with great interest, and from his eyes I could see he actually loved me. But he had a habit of saying after I come down from the platform, what are you have recently been into J. Krishnamurti and so on, and now you are giving lecture on Gita also. This is a contradiction, he would say in a loud language. Others also would be quite embarrassed. Why is this gentleman saying this to Swamiji? You are, on one hand, you are J. Krishnamurti, and here you are giving talks on Shiva Mahimna Stotra. I remember the text also in that particular. On many occasions, he criticized me. But afterwards, suppose somewhere somebody is offering some food to some 10 of us, he would sit very next to me, ask some questions, make some comments, and very interesting person. So the test, Yoga Yukta, one who has traversed the path of Karma Yoga. You can do that even being a householder, spouse, children, bank balance to be managed, 100 things to be looked into, and so on. Amidst all that, please do not think that Karma Yoga is possible only in a certain setting. Even during a vacation, let's say, to some distant place, you go on to some resort, and the idea is to enjoy. Karma Yoga comes up there also. There are families who go on a vacation and at that beautiful resort on some nice fancy island, they will have some misunderstanding, they will fight and they will scold each other. Because human life is like that. So, well, what is Karma Yoga even during a vacation? During the vacation also, being very sensitive, giving some space to other members of the family, not to impose on them, nor just follow them in anything they want to do. It's an art after all. Every one of you knows. Life is an art. Even during vacation, even during so-called holiday, we could act selfishly or we could act with certain broad-mindedness. So, Yoga Yukta, Vishuddhatma, the person's Antakarana. Here, though the word Atma is used, for heaven's sake, don't take it as the Shuddha Sachidananda Atma. That is ever pure. It doesn't have to be purified. The true nature of yours is ever pure. But your Antakarana, your thoughts, your emotions could be muddled, could be muddied, could be impure. Vishuddhatma, Vijitatma. Second time the word Atma came, then it can mean sense organs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and karmendriyas, vak, pani, pada, payu, upastha. So you have a degree of control over them. Jitendriya. If Vijitatma meant sense organs, Jitendriya could mean organs of action. Now there is a long compound, the fifth arrow that Sri Krishna shot. Swami Chinmayananji would have probably said, it was Rama, arrows of Rama. If it is Krishna, maybe one more melodious output from his flute. Sri Krishna is seen to be having a flute. Swamiji was very good in coming out with various metaphors, various wonderful expressions. His language, his English delivery was so good. I have a suspicion, I had and have, that half the audience came to improve their English. Some people openly admitted, I don't miss Swami Chinmayananji's lecture, they would say. And they would, because that is where my English improves every time he comes to our town. So, what is the Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma? See, Sarva Bhuta is all living beings. And next is you should split it in three parts: Sarva Bhuta, Atma Bhuta, and Atma. So, all living beings, Atma Bhuta. And take the last word, Atma. That is, here is a sadhaka. Sadhaka's Atma, last word, come to the middle part, Atma Bhuta. It has become the Atma of whom? Of all living beings. The self in me has become the self in all living beings. That means, as our mind gets purer and purer, there is very little need. A little need remains, but very little need to do the proper Vedanta study. You are like dry wood, and just a little of Vedanta study with the help of a competent teacher will set that piece of wood on fire. So, purity of mind. Sri Krishna is not talking about Jnana Yoga here. In Karma Yoga itself, one comes to the very threshold of experiencing one's own self, the last word, Atma, as having become the Atma, middle Atma Bhuta of Sarva Bhuta. So in Shankara Bhāshya, we will see the Vigraha Vakya. This is a long samasa. When the samasa is split into parts, then it is called Vigraha Vakya. Because Vigraha somewhere can mean a statue, Murti. But in grammar, Vigraha means splitting. Sandhi and Vigraha. In relationships also, Sandhi means you come together, become friends. Vigraha means you have a misunderstanding and part. Bhajagovindam has an expression. Makuru yatnam vigraha sandhau. There is an expression in Bhajagovindam, the popular word. Don't waste your energy in forging new relationships or breaking some relationship where you have some displeasure with somebody. By and large, if you are a spiritual aspirant, go with the flow. Someone has said something nasty about you. On that count, do not fret and fume. Do not grind your teeth. Do not say, I will not have anything to do with him here onwards. And you have invited yesterday, sent an invitation. Don't send another WhatsApp. Don't come to my party tomorrow. That invitation yesterday is cancelled. That's called Vigraha. And Sandhi is, what is that? You go bending on your knees, or there's some expression. You go out of your way to seek somebody's friendship, somebody's favor, I want him to be in my circle of friends. How to win her heart, how to win his, goodwill, extra. So this Bhajagovindam says, Makuru Yatnam Vigrahasam. If you are living an orderly life, right people will come to you. Wrong people will themselves leave, because your sattvic nature will make them feel so bored. They ask you, will you have a drink? You say, I don't take alcohol. Come on, take a cigarette. You say, smoke. Then, come, let's gamble. I don't gamble. You expect those people still to stick to you? They will leave on their own. Therefore, in higher spirituality, things happen. You do not waste energy. Anyway, Vigraha Vakya, here is grammar. Last part is also so good. This shloka is so good. In fact, you may wonder sometimes how Swamiji sometimes does only one shloka. Actually, the one shloka is enough for 5 lectures. I cover one shloka in a class. So let's see. Kurvannapi na lipyate. What a powerful expression. Though you are busy, though you are doing things, though you are buying and selling, meeting and receiving, traveling or staying, 100 things you are doing. You are not only married, you have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and you attend to all of them. I once in a while meet, I will not mention his name. I admire a gentleman in Bangalore. He is a householder, 3 children, and I guess 6 grandchildren, and all of them are doing well. I met him the other day in some Graha Pravesha, not some Graha Pravesha. Graha Pravesha, a new home his own daughter had bought. He was there, smiling away. He's pretty old now, sitting on a chair quietly, blessing everyone. He spoke to me also with the same warmth as he always had. Amazing. He's a good karma yogi. So, Kurvannapi. As we get older, attending all functions, traveling, or receiving guests, it all becomes a bit difficult. But this gentleman, maybe a little slowly, does all this. And he is a source of inspiration to his children, to his grandchildren. The grandchildren, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, they don't know much philosophy. They may not understand words of the grandfather, but just to see the grandfather mingling with all with a smile, I'm sure that's a wonderful education for them, much more than what they study in the schools. The grandchildren grow up in a certain balanced way. Yada punaha ayam samyak darshana prapti upayena or upayatvena. Karma yoga is upaya. It's a means to eventually get samyak darshana. Yogena yukta, yoga yukta, vishuddhatma. I said antakarana, Acharya Shankara writes vishuddha sattva. Sattva again means antakarana. Vijitatma, vijita deha. So Shankara takes the first 2 occurrence of Atma as deha. Jitendriya, a conqueror of organs of action, and one more could be sense organs too. And Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma, he says, Sarvesham Brahmadinam Stambha Paryantanam, starting from the Chaturmukha Brahma to a little plant in your courtyard, of all those living beings, Atma Bhuta, Atma, one's own self, what is one's own self? Pratyak Chetanaha, the pure consciousness in us. Atma here means, the last word Atma is pure consciousness. That has become the self of all living beings. Samyak Darshi Ityartha. So Karma Yoga brings one to the threshold of this Samyak Darshana. Technically speaking, Karma Yoga cannot bless you with the liberating wisdom. It brings you to the threshold. Then just a little of Vedanta Shravana. The Guru will come. The person who gives you that last input will come. So we have na lipyate, na karma bihi badhyate. Even if he is engaged, vartamanaha loka sangrahaya, he is engaged in actions. He is not seen to be meditating. He is not seen to be studying scriptures all the time. He or she is engaged in activities. Karmasu vartamanaha api kurvan api na lipyate. And that means na badhyate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.